All right, so we've taken a look at the preview of Group 1, the actual SOI primes that we're interested in. But there's this thing in preview survey also called validation preview. What that refers to is the fact that in every study we conduct, we hold out 100 respondents to take the validation survey. In the validation survey, we're not using our SOIs as the primes or the direct images that people are relating in the explicit response tasks, but we're using images for which we know what the responses should be, especially whether they should be more positive or more negative. The validation primes, as you'll see, are a picture of a very cute baby, a picture of a spider, and a picture of a cheeseburger. We throw that in for the third one. We don't know exactly what to expect there, but we need 3 images for people to evaluate. The baby and the spider have, through many, many studies, been validated to show that people are very positive, both implicitly and explicitly about the baby, and very negative, both implicitly and explicitly about the spider. They're somewhat universal in terms of how people feel about those items. So we use that as validation to make sure that when we get our results, we see the results we expect for the baby and the spider especially. And if we see that in our results, which we almost always do, I can't think of a study where we didn't see that, then we know that the responses for the actual SOIs that are in our study are working. So I'll just show you very quickly what the validation preview looks like. It's going to look a lot like the other survey, except different images. We start them out with the same description of the study, a dual purpose to evaluate several images. We don't say nutrition bars here, we say images, and guessing what they think a number of foreign language characters mean. Takes about 20 minutes. Again, to make sure you qualify and to direct you to the correct version, we have a few questions. Here, we want to make sure that with the spider, especially, we're not going to shock people in a way that hurts them. So we do screen out people who have any sort of extreme phobia or negative reaction to the spider. I'm going to say none of these here so that I can pass the screening. There's our screening for the foreign language. I'll say Turkish here just to show you that Chinese is what we're looking for. So congratulations, you qualify. Again, it takes about 20 minutes. When you're sure you have 20 minutes, click to begin. Great, let's get started. And so now we don't have your SOIs in there. We have this just general images, pictures of things. But we set up the explicit response tasks first and show them what the response tasks will look like, much like we did earlier. And we tell them they're going to see each image 3 times. And so with that, we again tell them that the words may not fit exactly how you feel about the image, but choose the one that best answers the questions. And what they'll be evaluating will repeat. Nothing's wrong. We do it for measurement reliability. And in case you have mixed feelings, notice that the lead-ins are very similar to the lead-ins for the primary survey to make sure we can get good comparisons. So here are the images for the explicit response tasks for validation respondents. Notice the spider and the baby and the cheeseburger. And again, we use these in every study because we know what to expect. And if we don't get what we expect, which we never do, then we might flag this as there may be some problem in what's happening. Go through the explicit response tasks there. Again, there are 9 of them, 3 for each of the images. And when we get through the explicit response tasks, then we move on to the setup for the implicit response tasks, much like you saw in the primary preview of the survey. So we tell them we're going to have them guessing the meaning of Chinese characters. They're going to be guessing the meaning of the Chinese characters while being distracted. That's our cover story. Here's a little more description of what they'll be seeing and how we want them to respond. Ignore the background images. Focus on and respond only to the Chinese characters. Select the words that best fit and just go with your gut. And here are the sample implicit response tasks. There will be 3 of them. There's the baby as the prime. And there's the cheeseburger as the prime. Okay, now you'll see how we'll be distracting you. Unusual, but interesting and fun, and it's scientifically proven to accurately measure people's responses while being distracted. Again, we remind them of how we want them to respond, and then we take them through the implicit response tasks, just like we did when we're using our SOIs as the prime images. Here we see the spider and the cheeseburger we saw earlier, and there's the baby. So I will continue this, again, like in the primary surveys, when they're finished with these implicit response trials, they'll be asked the classification questions, and then their survey will be finished. With that, we'll move on to the next video.